All right, welcome to Political Football. A little bit different this week. We're coming in hot, right live, right to talking because we have something new for you guys this week. So I'm Dave. I'm here with Cleveland Scott. We're Political Football. And yeah, so I'm just gonna go ahead and do this right here. Check this out. Shout out to President of the Network, Matty Ice, for the new intro for the show. Cleve, what did you think?
That was cool, man. It definitely looked better than it looked on my phone. So definitely looked pretty cool. Thanks, Matt. That was awesome.
Yeah, no, I really like that. So yeah, cuts down some editing time for me after the fact too, because now the intro for the show is just part of the thing here. I'm only gonna put in the video game outro though for the audio listener. Speaking of which, if you're an audio listener, please go to the show notes. That's a YouTube live stream as well. Feel free to subscribe to the channel, get notified every time we go live Tuesdays at 8:00. So Cleve, there were no bye weeks this week, which means we had 16 games and the trade deadline. Yeah. So I've made my notes here in such a way that we should be able to get through this. And we're going to go all the way back to last Thursday night, which for some reason feels like it was 6 weeks ago.
Facts.
There he is. What's up, Scott?
Hi. How you guys doing?
Good.
What's going on? Good. Cleve and I were just discussing how there were no bye weeks, so we had 16 games plus the trade deadline. So some of these games we're going to touch on extremely briefly.
Beautiful.
But going back to last Thursday night, Bucks at Bills. To me, the Bills or the Bucks 18 at the Bills 24. To me, the Bills were extremely lucky to hang on to win this game. If Chris Godwin got his head around, he easily catches that Hail Mary for the win at the end.
Yep. I mean, that seemed like so long ago, but yeah, that's what I remember from the game.
Yeah, it does feel like a long time ago.
It doesn't it? Doesn't it
Yeah.
really? Like it was 5 days. It feels like way longer than most Thursday games for some reason. And so then I have the note here for when I was writing my notes, because the NFL trade deadline was 4 p.m. Eastern today. Of course, I've been writing my notes since Sunday. Did the Bills make any moves at the deadline? With Matt Milano and Trey White out, they will need to be able to outscore good teams in the playoffs and do so on the road. Scott, as far as I know, the only move they made was signing Leonard Fournette.
Wow.
Who got Rasul Douglas from Green Bay? Where'd he end up?
That's a good question. Schefter had that. But either way, he's a defensive back. We do not think they added anybody on offense, correct?
No, just playoff Lenny.
Wow.
Playoff Lenny. So, Cleve, what do you think? Is that going to be the solution here?
I mean, I'm a running backs guy, but to be treading these guys, it's like I have no words. I mean, for him, it's good. He just shows up, 6 weeks, 7 weeks into the season.
So Rasul Douglas did in fact go to Buffalo, but I mean, it's clear they need defensive help, but you can't replace Trey White and Matt Milano with dudes you could trade for. They would have been much better off shelling out for Devontae Adams and trying to outscore people.
Yeah, how many of these? Some of these guys are just unavailable.
Well, make them available.
Did you see the game last night?
Yeah, it's I think that a lot of times these teams. I want to rephrase this. When I watch the fourth down and drafting decisions these teams make, I'm not convinced these players are necessarily unavailable, and that the teams might just not be thinking about the risk and reward correctly. I'm not saying that's this happening in this exact case with Buffalo and Devontae Adams, but in general, we see a little too much conservatism, not enough going out there trying to get the win in-game decisions and during the draft. It would make sense and extends to the trades here too.
Yeah, I've always thought that in terms of draft capital, every team values their picks way too much. Even like their second and third round picks. Like the chances of you crushing one of those picks and getting something super relevant is kind of low. And they hold on to them like they're, if I were running a team, I would have no picks. I wouldn't have picks. I really wouldn't. Or I'd have a lot of them when it all fell apart. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't have second and third and fourth round picks because I would be going to get players who can play. Because I don't know what the math is on like a third round pick, but what are the odds of that player becoming a starter for you?
Well, it would depend on what position you take them, right? Like, or what position they play. Where in the third round, right? Because pick 65 is a lot better than pick 96.
Yeah.
Right. So it would depend on a lot of things, but I'd say because you can get like maybe the best interior lineman in the draft in that range, but your wide receivers, you're getting wide receiver number 20, 25.
Yeah.
It's like, sure, every so often there's an Amon-Ra St. Brown and a Puka Nacua, but most of the studs are first round picks at wide receiver. So I'm with you. I think they way overvalue them. Paul saying that I think the Raiders made it clear they weren't trading Adams. Well, I think Adams should just at kickoff next week just be on a beach in Mexico.
Forget his helmet.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, his busted helmet.
Yeah.
It's tough. So, and I'm sure we're gonna talk about all the trades that were made, but sometimes
we are not. We're not talking about Ezra Cleveland.
No, okay.
Cleve, that's a real person.
Yeah.
I was about to ask.
Interior offensive lineman who's pretty good, but 6th round pick good. Like, I think it's pointless to trade a guy who can play for a 6th round pick. I mean, I don't know where he is in terms of his contract status, but he can play.
Yeah.
If he's walking in free agency next year, all right, you got a 6th round pick. But I mean, if he's got multiple years,
but at that point, but that's the game theory thing. At that point, you just hold the line. Like, I'd rather burn this guy than get a 6th round than get pennies on the dollar. I'd rather get 0 than get 30 cents on the dollar. I'm getting 80 cents or 0.
It's super confusing. Like, well, I don't want to hijack it with my thoughts on all the trades that were made. Not that there were many that
we will be getting to at least to the 2 Washington ones here. Okay. Jets 13 at the Giants 10 in overtime of one of the absolute worst football games I've ever seen in my life. Tyrod Taylor got hurt in the second quarter. Apparently it's Tommy DeVito, not Danny DeVito. As I originally thought, entered the game. Like, I knew it wasn't the actor Danny DeVito, but I thought his name was also Danny. The Giants did not complete a pass in the second half. They finished the game with -9 net passing yards. The Jets still needed a miracle to win this game in overtime, Cleve.
So I I watched my phone as you and Matt just texted away, and I literally had to like bite my fingers not to participate because the rage, and I was like this can't be a real football game, and I just turned it off. I just couldn't do it. I just kept hearing guys go down because I was listening to it class, and I'm like, okay, this is bad. And I'm like, where do we think that we're gonna be good this year? Like the hope for Rodgers and people talking about when he comes out and he's thrown on the sidelines and all that bullshit, it ain't gonna happen, guys.
No.
And if it took an overtime win, and you can't blame the weather because it wasn't a monsoon. We seen a monsoon game a couple years ago with the Bears and I forgot who they played, but
49ers.
49. Yeah, it's just. I mean, I don't know what's going on in New York, bro. This is bad.
Well, their quarterback is atrocious. And then apparently the third stringer for the Giants should even be in the league because they don't trust him to throw the ball downfield at all.
That's not his fault, though. I mean, the guy got put in the – he's a practice guy. He's a practice what do you call it? He runs the practice squad.
He played for Dino
wasn't
Babers
expected – Huh? Go ahead.
Yeah, he played for Dino Babers at Syracuse. He wasn't running the triple option at Air Force. So, like, the guy can throw the ball down the field. Right. Let him pass the ball one time.
He took 0 snaps with I don't know, meaningful snaps. I mean, I'm pretty sure he took some snaps because he knew he was gonna possibly get in. But I mean, Tyrod getting out, it's like the worst scenario for him. Like, oh shit,
Yeah.
I actually got to go in the game.
Speaking of which, my last thought on this game: Tyrod Taylor has to leave the game with a rib injury, go to the hospital. Did he puncture that same lung again that doctor and for the Chargers?
It'd be very ironic, wouldn't it be?
I would hope not. I would hope not.
I don't
think he punctured a lung. Yeah. I don't think that's what happened.
Yeah, Tyrod Taylor actually has the worst injury / roster luck of anybody in the league who's currently playing. He leads the Bills to the playoffs just from the draft Josh Allen and kick him out of town. So he gets to go to the Chargers where he gets to start until the doctor stabs him in the lung. And it turns out Justin Herbert's actually pretty good. So he doesn't get to play there. Then he's stuck on the Giants, breaks his ribs again, and has to watch as Danny DeVito hands the ball to Saquon 97 times.
Scott, I gotta send you the Matt 30 for 30 on Tyrod Taylor. It's actually pretty good. He played it for me and Dave was it 2 seasons ago, Dave?
2 seasons.
It was pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah. Because Scott, I don't know if you know, but Matty Ice went to Virginia Tech. So
yeah, he's
okay. Yeah, so he's a Virginia Tech guy. Jaguars 20 at the Steelers 10. The Jaguars are good. The Steelers are bad. I did say in the preview of this game that the Steelers were going to do it again, but they didn't. They lost. But the story of this game is not what happened on the field. The Jags are 6-2 now. That's great. The Steelers were pissed about the officiating after this game. Clev, did you see these comments?
Not the comments. I just know the officiating is getting fucking stupid now.
Scott, did you see these comments?
No.
Okay, get a load of this. I have the entire statement here from Diontae Johnson, and I don't normally do this, but this is incredible. So after the game in the locker room, Diontae Johnson says, and I quote, "Refs were just killing us the whole game. The same refs we had at a training camp. I didn't like the refs today. At the end of the day, we can't keep complaining about the refs. Like Coach Tomlin say, we can't worry about the refs, whatever, but everybody's different." He continues, "I didn't like the refs today. They must have got paid good today or something, but they blew that field goal. That hurt us coming into the half. We needed that." He continues, "The officials wanted the Jaguars to win, bro. They was calling everything was in their favor. They was getting every little call, but it is what it is. But we can't, like I said, I'm moving on from it. I'm ready for Thursday."
He got fired.
Apparently not.
To be clear, Diontae Johnson basically just said that the refs of this game were on the take in favor of the Jaguars and flat out said that's why the Steelers lost this game.
Shouldn't there be somebody in the locker room somewhat paying attention to what the players are saying and getting involved when something like this happens?
Like a handler, right? Walks in. Like, hey.
I think we found who was paying the refs. Ben in the comments says Jake's won't be so much money this year.
Yeah, there you go.
There we go.
So you know what's funny about that is that after he got to the part where he said we needed that, somebody like his handler said one more, guys, to the journalist. And I'm sure the handler thought, well, the journalists are obviously going to steer this conversation somewhere productive.
And they did not.
No, to which he did answer,
that.
The officials wanted the Jaguars to win, bro. He actually said they wanted them to win, but you know what he meant. The officials wanted the Jaguars to win, bro. They was calling. Everything was in their favor. They was getting every little call, but it is what it is. Like I said, I'm over it. Ready for Thursday. This man is going to have to cut one of the biggest checks in the history of the league.
Yeah,
he flat out accused.
Yeah, he flat out accused like 50 grand.
Yeah, the officials of being on the take and in the bag for an opponent. And the thing is, the officials are not on the take and they're not in the bag for one team or the other. They're just incompetent. And the NFL, like we always say, they have a real problem here because now the players are like, these refs are so bad. They can't possibly be this bad. They have to be taking money.
It's just out of control. Every year we complain about something like or missed call or something, but it's kind of getting out of hand. I don't know if we need to go to the tennis format where they just get like a camera, 1,000 cameras everywhere, and they just have it go to the cameras.
Well, you could hire I mean, I would imagine that tennis has referees that they train,
Mhm.
and there's a federation of referees. The NFL can't afford that though, so it's doctors and lawyers and
And
stiffs.
$9
Like
billion
last
a
night,
year.
the fumble they call on Craig Reynolds is
Oh
like
my
mind
Ridiculous.
blowing.
Yeah,
Like,
I almost text you guys in the group. I was like, I don't know how you guys even feel about that. It's insane.
it's nuts.
Yeah.
Imagine
No,
that in a
so-
playoff game. Imagine that in the playoff game.
Well,
Yeah.
the thing is that if you remember the Super Bowl last year, it was the situation to where James Bradbury did hold Juju on the critical play of the game, but because they hadn't called it all game, Bradbury thought he was okay to do it because he'd been doing all game with getting no calls.
Yeah.
So not only are they incompetent, they're inconsistently incompetent.
Yeah.
Which is
Which
probably
makes it-
worse than if they just mess shit up, you would at least know, right? Or if they're not calling things both ways. Like, I mean, I'm
Yeah.
sure Diontae Johnson was feeling a certain kind of way about the things that defensive backs were allowed to do against him, and they were calling everything. Yeah.
It's complete horseshit when they say they can't afford. I mean, I don't know if that's true or not. They can't afford these refs full time. They're pivotal to the sport, right?
Yeah.
They're like really a part of the sport. They make a life or death call that they got to live with. People got to live with. So like, how are they not full time? Like, this is stupid.
It really is. And with as much gambling as there is now,
Yes.
it's like you've opened the door for bad things to take place. And it'll eat right at the integrity of the game.
Right.
And it's not like it takes a lot. One example of a referee, on the take, and you're in trouble.
Yeah. I mean, the NBA had to go through that when they had that one guy about
Donahue.
15, 20, Donahue, like 10, 15 years ago. So just to be clear, I don't think any of us are saying that the referees are actually on the take or they're rigged or anything like that. It's just that they are so bad that now even the players can't believe how bad they are. So they're looking for other possible explanations.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
it's crazy, bro.
I don't want to. This question right now is hypothetical. I just want us to think about it as the season moves forward. The Jags are now 6-2, and they're going to win the AFC South. Can they sneak the 3 seed away from the AFC North champion? That's the question to me, because, and again, the listeners can think about it now. We with no bye weeks this week, we'll have a chance to discuss this more later. But think about who the 5 seed will be in the AFC, and why you want to, and who the 6 seed would be, and why you might want to avoid that, right? So the Jags really should try to get that 3 seed if they can. Next game here, Eagles 38 at the Commanders 31. Clev, with 30 seconds to go in the second quarter, what was the score of this game?
I don't know. I can't remember.
It was 14-3 Commanders with 30 seconds to go in the second quarter.
I do remember because I was on I can't say the word, but I was on a site playing, and I was like, I should have took some of this action.
I have a coworker who is a giant Commanders fan, and our boss is a big Eagles fan. So like at this point in the game, in the group chat, he puts an image of the score and he says, "No, let's finish." After the game, she responds to him in all lowercase and just said, "Did they finish?"
Wow.
Yeah, maybe he shouldn't have posted that at the half.
Brutal.
Dude, no lead is safe in the NFL. I've seen twice where I've Frank Wright coming back, obviously, and then my boy Vinny at the Meadowlands. Yeah, no lead is safe, bro.
Yeah, the only other 3 things I want to mention about this game as well. The Eagles, 4 things. The Eagles fumbled on the 1-yard line twice and lost the ball. It's still won by 7. This should have been a 50 spot. 2, AJ Brown with 130 yards, now 6 straight games over 125, which is incredible.
Yeah, he's pretty ridiculous.
Yes. The Eagles ran a counter off the tush push that got DeAndre Swift a 10-yard touchdown, which is going to make that play even more devastating going forward. And finally, the Eagles are the only 1-loss team in the league now. So, They are the number one team in the entire NFL. As far as the trades go, the Commanders did trade away 2 players today. They traded away Montez Sweat to the Bears for a second-round pick, which is smart because that's going to be an early second-round pick. And they traded Chase Young to the 49ers for a third-round pick, and that somehow wasn't to the Lions. And I'm not happy about that. But Chase Young to the 49ers.
Good for him, man. Hopefully he can stay healthy.
That's the thing. Like, so you're going to have to pay him. Are you really giving up any draft capital at all if you're not going to pay him?
Yes.
I mean, if the Lions gave up a third-round pick for 8 games of Chase Young and then he left, I don't think that's great.
It is. So I'm going to counter that because generally I would agree with you. But as we established with Truculent Scott, the Lions are all in this year, right? We've seen that from how they drafted, right?
Yeah.
Like, you shouldn't trade a third-round pick to get 8 games from a player. You also should not take a running back 12th overall. Like, they expect to win this year. And they look around and they can see, like, the Eagles got Kevin Byard. They're getting stronger. The 49ers already got Randy Gregory. They're trying to get stronger. So the Lions are looking around. They need to be thinking, how are we going to get stronger? And to me, Chase Young was an obvious way to do it. And you don't need to pay him because you're trying to win literally this year.
So this is where, like, there has to be a level of trust-ish in Brad Holmes. Obviously, they didn't view him worthy of a third-round pick because they could have beat the 49ers' third-round pick because it's a compensatory pick. So it's going to be after pick 96. So, Brad Holmes obviously didn't value Chase Young. I would tell you that there's the injury history with him made teams really not want to go down that road with him. Montez Sweat's a different story. Yeah, he's a much more physical player.
The Bears offer like pick 37. Nobody's
right. So the Lions would have had to give up their first round pick to do that.
Yeah,
and you're not doing that. So, no. I just think it's one of those things where you got to look at what teams didn't do and understand it. The 49ers gave up a compensatory pick they're going to get from losing what's his nuts who went to Houston. I can't think of his name right now. The head coach,
D'Amico Ryan.
Yeah, thank you. So, obviously for them it's worth it, but for the Lions it wasn't worth it for them to beat that price. So then what are the problems with the player? He's a finesse pass rusher. He's had a significant injury history going back, a while. And it's just, I think that they viewed I know this is going to sound crazy, but they may have viewed the players that they have in-house as better options already, which sounds absolutely bananas to say that. It's Chase Young.
Yeah. But or just to have another one because the players they have in-house, one of them could get hurt.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, you already lost 49ers Houston, right? Like it happens.
Right. Yeah. The 49ers have Nick Bosa. They got better players in-house too, but they know they need the stockpile. And I do actually trust Brad Holmes quite a bit, more so with like later round draft picks than anything else.
Yeah.
But the 49ers as an organization have earned more trust than Brad Holmes running the Lions over the years. So like, it'd be one thing if it was like some obvious like dipshit organization. who
I don't know. See, I don't know that I buy that. I don't. Not to argue with you or anything. I mean, you did give up a ton of shit to move up and take Trey Lance and then ship him off 2 years later.
Yes, but the quarterback is literally Mr. Irrelevant. So
I know, but you can't. That's not a strategy like that.
Yeah, but they still did both. Like it's still them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's still.
But I think there's a perception out there that they do perfect things, and it's no.
They could have stood pat, taken Mac Jones, and Brock Purdy would still be their quarterback.
Probably, he might be, but Brock Purdy at some point in time, very soon, is going to be a problem for them.
Well,
a problem that they're probably not going to find their way out of.
Yeah, we're gonna come to them shortly. Cleve, on the show last week, we did our brief preview of the upcoming week, like we do every week. What did I say about the Rams Cowboys game? Do you remember?
Vaguely. You said vaguely. Remind me.
So I said, I'm not ready to predict this yet, but I think this could be a boat race. I think the Cowboys could kill the Rams. And then I
Yes, you
said,
did
you know
say
what?
that.
We're not going to be on the air again. I'm just going to call it. The Cowboys are going to murder the Rams. Rams 20 at the Cowboys 43. And it wasn't that close.
CeeDee Lamb had a good day.
12 catches, 158 yards, and 2 touchdowns. CeeDee Lamb is him, and the Cowboys were smart to shift their offensive focus to him. Matt Stafford injured his thumb in this game and had to come out. If he misses time, Kupp and Nakua take major hits as fantasy options.
Who's the backup over
there? Brett Rippon.
Yeah, they had Stetson Bennett, but he's on IR, so it's a guy who's been around for a little while as a very deep backup.
Yeah.
The backup quarterback position in the NFL is bad.
Yeah.
Bad.
That's because the starting quarterback position in the NFL is bad.
Kind of, but you're not giving any of these backups any snaps in practice, so they're all just kind of.
I mean, the best used to be Gardner. Now he's like a pick machine.
Yeah. Well, he's always been kind of bad at turning the ball over, but he also makes big plays. See, the thing is, Gardner Minshew and Jameis Winston are kind of the same person.
Yeah,
and they play very similarly.
50.
Yeah, so they can explode in any
guys.
direction at any time. The Cowboys play the Eagles this week in Philly.
It's gonna be a good game.
Yeah, that's gonna be a hugely pivotal game in this division, because the Cowboys 3 weeks ago now getting murdered by the 49ers is actually looking like a really bad loss. Not just because like you lost by a lot, but the 49ers aren't looking as unbeatable anymore. So the Cowboys they can't go out and get crushed by Philly this week and just show they can't compete with good teams. They could just roll over the bad ones. Vikings 24 at the Packers 10. The Packers are trash and not a threat to make the playoffs. Jordan Love sucks. But the real story out of this game, Kirk Cousins tore his Achilles and is out for the year. By the time we go on air, we will know their plans at quarterback. And we do. They traded for Josh Dobbs, Clev.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, Kyler's coming back this week or next, so they traded for Josh Dobbs.
But they had
BYU's
Jaron Hall as their starting quarterback, and it's like, that's not really acceptable.
I'd rather start the DeVito kid.
Well, to me, I'd be burning it down and taking taking all the losses and stumbling into a quarterback in the draft. But
so here's the thing. So Kurt's probably on his way out and someone's going to pay him, so he might break the bank again somewhere else.
Yes.
How do they keep Jefferson now? like a rookie coming in or another vet somewhere else? Like, how does that shake out?
It depends on how this year goes. I mean, they're 4-4, so if they go 6-11, they're picking 9th, 10th ish, 8th, 7th, somewhere in there. With as many quarterbacks as there are, if Michael Penix ends up there, Jefferson will be perfectly happy. They may also know they have to get a quarterback. They may be in a position to trade up and take one of the quarterbacks that they really want. Obviously, they wouldn't be able to trade up for Caleb. I don't think anybody's trading out of Caleb Williams, but they might be in a position to trade up and do that. So I don't think they're at any risk of losing Jefferson. But Jefferson is riskier now in Dynasty because we don't know his quarterback future. So Scott and I were talking about this. I would take Jamar Chase, number one wide receiver in Dynasty, Jefferson second, just because we know Burrow's locked in with Chase.
But
the important thing coming out of this, from the point of view of Lions fans, is that this just wraps up the division for the Lions. The Bears are terrible. The Packers are terrible. The Vikings now are going to try to roll Josh Dobbs out there, and the Lions are already 6-2. So for the Lions now, everything should be structured towards optimizing for the playoff push, which is why getting 8 games out of Chase Young is a decent gamble. Anyways, Falcons 23 at the Titans 28. Scott, we could be in a lot of trouble.
In what way?
Because we spent a lot of time talking mad shit about Will Levis, and it is all over Al Gore's internet.
Dude, it's okay.
I'm here for all of it. Scott,
Will
go ahead.
Levis is going to make terrible decisions, and he's going to make horrendous throws. He just didn't do that on Sunday. It was Atlanta.
Will Levis has now played one NFL game that is better than the best games of Jordan Love and Zach Wilson combined.
But and I'm on Scott's side with this, and it's one game, and so it's a small sample, albeit it's an actual NFL game. This is like the Matt Flynn thing. Like you play yourself into a thing.
Yeah, he looked awesome.
Let's talk about this like in about
growth.
6 weeks. Let's talk about this in 6 weeks.
Let's let it marinate a little bit.
A little bit, yeah, just a little bit.
Okay, I'm not Dennis Green out here ready to crown their ass. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that we talked shit about Will Levis like he was going to look like the DeVito kid if he ever got on the field. Instead, he comes out here 19-29, 238, 4 touchdowns, no picks, dropping flick the wrist 50-yard dots to Westbrook.
I never talked about him like the DeVito kid because Will Levis has a cannon, and he has serious arm talent.
Yes, but
it's
that's
just
what
the
we
decision making. Scott's saying.
Yes,
the decision making.
Yes, we said he's
talent.
basically Happy Gilmore, like he's got no skills. He could just throw it over them their mountains. Right, we're talking mad shit. Like there's no way around it. It's recorded.
I don't remember calling him Happy Gilmore, but I mean, he was fine at Kentucky 2 years ago. He had kind of a rough year. He went through a bunch of injuries and all kinds of stuff, but he looked pretty good on Sunday. But let's see him play somebody other than Atlanta, and we'll see. We could have been totally wrong on him, and he could be a rock star.
Yeah, I'm just saying that like the truly terrible quarterbacks don't have this in their bag, right? Like the absolute disaster, no hope. The Christian Ponders, Jake Locker, Malik.
Those
Willis,
guys didn't have one game like that. Yes, you're right. 100%.
Right. So like his floor is now way higher than it was, and his floor is higher than we were talking about him. Like even if he finishes his career at his current floor, he's still going to be like a Gardner Minshew backup for the next 10 years.
Yeah.
And we were talking about him like he was what was the other kid's name from Florida State there? Not Ponder, the other one. EJ Wilson.
EJ Manuel?
EJ Manuel.
Yeah.
He was
Yeah. Yeah, so if he turns out to be good, we're in some trouble.
Well, listen, we're already in trouble already. It doesn't matter. We're in this shit already. We're good.
Well, some of us are in less shit than others. So
Zach Wilson was a great prospect.
Oh my God. Listen, I have the letter.
It's the kick to the balls. It's a kick to the balls.
So
did you see the game? Did you see the game Sunday? Okay.
I did, but the first paragraph could go. It works for Will Levis. Did you? I know you saw the footwork and the big old cannon arm. It's the same shit.
Just change the name, huh?
So we have a couple good questions in the chat I do want to get to here. So Don, what's up, Don? He asked how many elite quarterbacks are playing in the league today? Like 7, with some possibility for some younger guys.
Do you really think it's 7?
Mahomes, Hurts, Allen, Burrow, Lamar.
I don't think somebody. Allen is. I don't think Hurts is.
That's elite. Ridiculous.
That's
absurd.
Elite.
That is absurd.
Oh my! Dude went to the Super Bowl last year. Scott,
Jalen Hurts is like one of the most unstoppable quarterbacks in the league. The coach just said it's 1st and 9 every time they get a first down because he can't be stopped on short yardage.
Did he fumble twice last week in short yardage situations?
And they still won by 7 because A.J. Brown is a monster getting these yards because he's got a quarterback to throw to him. Garrett Wilson ain't getting yards right now. He ain't got no quarterback.
So, Scott, you're on record saying that Jalen Hurts is not an elite quarterback.
He's a really. We have to define elite. What is elite?
Pro Bowl, can easily win the Super Bowl and is like, if he plays this way for 12 years, he's walking in the Hall of Fame. Like, Jalen Hurts is awesome.
Jalen Hurts is an awesome quarterback. He is.
He's not elite.
Josh Allen is not elite.
Okay, I can probably get behind that one.
No, that's just because that confirms something you said 4 years ago, Cleve, and you're really hoping that it comes back to be true. Josh Allen is elite, and DK Metcalf is not a bust. You're not putting the toothpaste back in that tube.
God, we're gonna revisit that.
Wow, let it go, Dave. Let it go.
I think
we throw around.
No, the
around
first
the word
season,
elite too much.
the first season of political football was
I-
Josh Allen's breakout year.
Yeah.
So the very first episode is me and Cleve arguing about if Josh Allen's going to be good or not. And it's like, how do we view the Bills? So like that was like one of the crux, like the very first episode.
Yes.
So that's why now Cleve's like, oh my God, maybe he's not elite, even though we clearly see him just be elite all the time. And he's clearly the man. So okay, so down with the follow-up here. He says, I think of elite QBs such as Montana, Young, Marino, Bradshaw, Staubach. Yeah, so first of all, Terry Bradshaw, not elite quarterback. Terry Bradshaw's
generational dudes.
Yeah. Terry Bradshaw's Brock Purdy. They put him on this super team. It was like, don't make a bunch of mistakes.
Yeah.
Right.
All you have to do is game manage.
Yeah.
Montana, I don't think Terry Bradshaw will ever be considered. Brock Purdy is only Brock Purdy because of his cerebral abilities. No offense, Terry, but I don't know that that's what's happening there. God, I'm being terrible. I really need to tone it down.
Couldn't spell Brock if you give him the B.
What an asshole.
Yeah, so Terry Bradshaw would not put on that list. Marino, obviously, we're talking about elite at playing the position, not accomplishments. Yes. Yeah. Steve Young, yes. Joe Montana, yes. Elway, obviously. Elway's like the best quarterback prospect of all time. So for either him or Peyton Manning.
For right now, I think Mahomes is elite.
Mahomes might be the greatest ever do it. Yes.
And then there's a group who are ascending to the point where can they become elite? I think Burrow's in there. I think Hurts probably is already there. Hurts is incredible. It's just he's got to do it for more than
I'm sorry. There is so much slander happening here. Patrick Mahomes is obviously elite. If Patrick Mahomes lost a leg in a car accident tomorrow, he's in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes, as far as
who slandered him? We all think he's elite.
As far as talent and all that, he has a real chance to be actually goated because he'll never win as much as Brady because nobody will, but he's got arm talent like Marino and a couple Super Bowls already. He's got a real chance at GOAT status.
He's like a total game changer player.
Yes, which means that he's not the bar for being elite. He has blown past the bar. It's not how close you get to Mahomes. Mahomes is probably already top 5 at the position, right? It's not about getting to him. It's just about the line for that is not Mahomes. But the slander here is that when we're talking about the best quarterbacks, nobody's bringing up Lamar Jackson, who is the second best quarterback in the league behind Patrick Mahomes. I
want to find the definition of the word elite.
Yeah, I'm not high on Lamar as you are, Dave. I have him in the group, but I don't have him as at that high. I would actually put Hurts ahead of Lamar.
Lamar Jackson has already displayed the ceiling that everybody thinks they're going to see from Josh Allen and Jalen Hurts. So as to kind of go with what Scott's saying about defining elite, to me, Hurts is elite because he took a team to the Super Bowl last year, and if it wasn't just for some ticky-tack shit, they would have won that game. He balled out in the Super Bowl last year. He balled. He did. Had they won that game, he would have been the MVP. Yes, that's not forgetting. He lost that game because he got strip sack fumbled by Nick Bolton. And
I can't believe I'm about to say this. I'm terrified to say this. I might say this and leave. It's possible I'm done. I'll see you guys next Tuesday. Was Jalen Hurts capable of this kind of stuff before AJ Brown showed up? I'm back.
Our most, this is ridiculous. By the way, I don't know what to tell you guys, but an hour 10 is going to be tight. Listen, I don't know how to tell you guys this.
Listen, let's just leave it there. I had the final word. We're moving on.
He's the fucking button wearing, card carrying Lamar for president fucking guy. That's
who is the worst. Who is the elite quarterback with the worst wide receiver play?
Patrick Mahomes.
No, he had Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. Get out of here.
Right now. Who does he have?
Mahomes is goated already. He's he's on top 5. He's playing with 2 Hall of Fame pass catchers for most of his career and still has one now.
Good point, Paul. Good point. Good point.
That's what I'm saying. Montana isn't Montana without Rice.
Sure.
Right? Is it Rod Smith and Easy Ed? Is it Mark Clayton and Mark Duper? Is it the Marks brothers? Like, who are the worst receivers on elite quarterbacks? Because the thing is, you don't typically get ceiling performances of quarterbacks without talented people to throw the ball to. Because, like Giselle said, he can't catch it. So, right, Brady's best years with Gronk and with Moss.
You'd have to put Tom in there because some of the receivers
Yes.
Yeah, because some of the years you couldn't name some of those.
He was throwing to freaking Julian Edelman and Wes Welker.
Tom sorry. Tom Brady is so late, he wasn't even mentioned. Like, you don't even have to mention it. Like, we know.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, who's the most
we know.
So are there 10 elite players, quarterbacks in the NFL right now, playing right now?
No.
I don't think so. I think there might be 2 or 3.
No, there's a minimum 5.
We said
minimum 5.
I would say 7, but I know Dave's not big on Dak, just like I'm not big on Lamar. Not that he's not good. I just don't like if you have to rank them. I would put Hurts over Lamar. That's it.
How many? Here's a question. How many first round picks would you trade right now, Cleve? Because the Jets need a quarterback to get Patrick Mahomes on the Jets. How many would you be willing to trade?
Shit.
20.
Yeah, the whole fucking draft, bro.
Okay, so then my follow-up question is, how many would you be willing to trade to get Jalen Hurts on the Jets?
20. 50. All of them.
Do you see what I'm saying, Cleve? How many would you be willing to trade to get Lamar?
Can I just put in here for
Burrow?
a second? How many would you give up to get Jared Goff on the Jets? Probably a bunch.
No, it's an 8-game rental because he won't take Rodgers' spot.
Yeah.
Right. So, and that's the other thing too, is that like Aaron Rodgers isn't elite anymore, but obviously like he's an elite quarterback, even though he's probably not elite anymore. But as far as players,
we're talking about who's playing. Yeah, we're talking right now.
All right, now I got to write things down.
Scott's saying 3. You're saying 5. I'm saying 7.
So Scott, who are your 3? Mahomes?
I don't even know. It's just so to me, it's Mahomes is an absolute. There's no doubt. We can't even. We don't even need to discuss.
Guaranteed.
It. And then there are I think Burrow is kind of entering that conversation. I think Lamar is there. Without Lamar, I don't know what Baltimore does. Hurts is easily in that conversation, just behind where Mahomes is, easily, for what he did in the Super Bowl last year and the way he's playing right now.
Yes,
he is. I wasn't trying to slander Hurts. I just think that elite is something maybe different than. For me, maybe
if Patrick Mahomes is the definition of elite, then yes, there's only one elite quarterback, and there's only ever been like 2 at a time ever.
Yeah, that's kind of how But maybe that's a me problem, and I need to just step out of being. Yes,
if you're judging Phillip Rivers against Peyton Manning, that might not be the way to do it.
But I don't think there's very many more than that, though.
Mahomes, Lamar, Hurts, Burrow, Allen, to me, are givens. These are elite quarterbacks. Anybody would trade 3 first-round picks and pay them their contracts. Take them on their team unless you already have one of them or like a young guy you think could potentially become that, right?
I'm not sure I would put Allen in there, but I don't want to argue about it anymore. I'm going to stay at 4 guys.
Yeah. Wow.
Because I just think he turns the ball over too much.
Mine's is Mahomes, Hurts, Lamar, Burrow, Allen, and Dak.
I would not include Dak in there, but I would like to see Dak play with a competent head coach one time.
That's that part.
That would be nice.
Yeah, it'd be cool to see that one time. I'm not sure that we're ever actually going to get there. So
I have really sidetracked us. I apologize.
Yeah. Hey, this happens. I will get us through what we need to get through. I promise. I am a semi-professional broadcaster after all.
You went to school for it.
Yeah. So Don says Montana was elite before Rice joined the league. That is correct. I hate to say it, but he was elite at Notre Dame. Bill Walsh saw it. Montana was good at Notre Dame. He was still a 3rd-round pick. Like, he was a bit of a steal of a pick. He was like Russell Wilson. So while he was good, undeniably good, he wasn't like all world then. And while Montana was clearly good before Rice joined the league, they won. Like, the catch happened in 81. Rice came in 85. So they won 2 Super Bowls?
How do you
before Rice
remember
got
this
there.
stuff?
He's a football savant.
Yeah, well, that's definitely a savant.
I had a conversation with my oldest last night, seriously, during the game. I have no memory of it.
Hey, Scott, you're making us look bad with the old guys here.
He's like, I asked him a question this morning, and it's like, yeah, we talked about that last night. And I said, huh? You weren't even here. No, he was here. Yeah.
Anyways, Montana was always a winning quarterback, but just like Brady won Super Bowls before he got Moss and Gronk. But Brady was obviously at his best at his quarterback with Gronk, Moss, and then when he had Godwin and Evans. Montana was a lot better once he got Rice, even though he was still great before that. And we're going to see the reverse with Mahomes. When Kelsey retires and his top receivers are Marquez Valdez-Scantling and Scott, we're going to see
Come
Mahomes
on, they
drop
got
off a
Rashid
bit.
Rice. He's going to be a rock star.
Right. So, yeah.
I was just dismissed.
Okay. Paul just said Dak is Black Jared Goff, which might even be insulting to Jared Goff.
Jesus, Dak's all right, man.
But I would like to see Dak play with a competent head coach one time, because I think he's a lot better than situations he's been put in. But I don't think he's elite by any means. Then I'm just trying to think of the younger guys, like who has the chance to move into this group. Kyler has a chance to move into this group.
I don't think so.
No chance.
No chance.
Anybody uniquely talented has a chance to move into this group. He is.
I can't buy that.
I mean, I hope you're right, because he's tied to Arizona for a while.
Yeah. Trevor Lawrence has a chance to move into this group. Right.
Yeah.
There's older guys who were in this group are falling out. Russ is out, of course. Rodgers is out now. Right. So they were older. They were in there. Now they're gone. Herbert has a chance to move into this
Stafford?
group.
This will be a good barometer for us. Where would Stafford have fallen in this group? Because I don't think he ever fit in that group. To me, I know he won a Super Bowl 2 years ago, but I don't think he was ever an elite quarterback.
No, but what's funny is that I think if prime Matt Stafford was playing right now, he'd be threatening that, right? But part of it, he was in there with Manning and Brady and like prime Rodgers. Like he had all these other players who were obviously so much better than him.
Yeah,
but the quarterback position is worse now than it was a few years ago. So I think prime Matt Stafford, 2012 Matt Stafford right now is probably number 6 on this list. And higher than that for you, Scott, because you take him over Allen.
Maybe. I just I think those are similar dudes. Like
if Allen's on the list, Dak has to be on the list.
No chance.
Are you kidding me?
Josh Allen is a dynamic athlete with a much better arm, much better pedigree.
You're too reckless, bro. He's too fucking reckless. He's really always he's gonna have that. He's gonna have that shit on him.
You Cleve, let him know. Tell him.
That's the part that Dave overlooks. The intangibles like that, bro. I don't trust him in a moment. He can't help himself sometimes. And we saw that this season earlier. Somebody sat him down and talked to him because he was diving for first downs 10 yards away, doing stupid shit. No.
Okay, the injury last year derailed them. It really did.
It was the elbow, right? It was the elbow.
Yeah, and they were never, and he was never the same last year.
Yeah.
Dak, I don't think Dak's ever been the same since he broke his leg.
Correct.
And then went into training camp and hurt his shoulder. And it's just like he's never been physically the same quarterback.
But it's the coaching as well. Like Dave said, it's just like let's give him another coach and see what that looks like.
Paul with the last point here. He says Favre was reckless too, and you can't deny that he was elite in his prime. That's very true. Yeah. And the Packers lost a lot of playoff games because of his recklessness. And they went to 2 Super Bowls and they went to 2 Super Bowls and won one because of his recklessness.
Feast and famine, bro. Feast and famine.
Yeah. Live by the sword, die by the sword, sort of thing. So
I mean, the last thing I'll say about Allen, and I can be done, is he does things that nobody else can do. And because he can, he's going to try to do those things. And when they work, it's incredible. When they don't, it's bad. It's like that's
the part
fumbles
for me.
and the picks and all those things.
But can you trust them in the big moment to not help himself or whatever he does?
Yeah.
Okay. And so, anyways, the other elite quarterback is Danny Dimes. Patriots 17 at the Dolphins 31. The Dolphins are good and the Patriots are bad. Any other thoughts?
Nope.
No.
Okay.
No.
Saints, my pen broke. Saints 38 at the Colts 17. Wild game. The Saints are a threat or even likely to win the NFC South since Atlanta has a smooth brain coach. Any other thoughts?
Nope.
Did you say who has a smooth brain coach?
Atlanta.
That might be the most hurtful way to describe a person's intelligence in the history of the world. If you just keep doing that, you're going to be like a YouTube sensation. You are
calling the heir to the FedEx fortune a smooth brain.
They should Wonderlic test him every fucking week. Every week, a new Wonderlic test.
No. Again, his dad founded FedEx. He'll get a 48 on the Wonderlic, right? Rich people test well on standardized tests by and large, right?
I wonder why.
Right. He's not lacking for knowledge. He can coordinate a run game. He's lacking for critical thinking.
Yeah.
Which the Wonderlic doesn't test for. Trust me, I took it. It doesn't test for critical thinking. I got a 41, by the way. I'm just saying.
Is that janitor? Like, I don't know where's that in there?
No, it's out of 50, asshole.
No. Hey,
wow.
Your boy Lamar got like a fucking 4 or some shit like that.
Yeah, he wrote his name and
that was it. That was
one
it.
of the digits of his phone number down, and he was good. I'm out.
Fucking yes. 4.
Yes, but that's because I'm the child of 2 pharmacists from a suburb in Michigan, and Lamar Jackson was going through whatever Lamar had to go through to make it to where he's at. So I'll take Lamar's life experience over my 41 on the Wonderlic any day.
Or his name in a crayon.
As far as like developing into, stuff. Texans 13 at the Panthers 15. Believe it or not, I actually do have a couple thoughts on this game. First is that this was a huge letdown for the Texans, especially CJ Stroud, who I'm sure wanted to show out against the Panthers, the team that took Bryce Young over him first overall, and to score only 13 points against the worst team in the league coming out of your bye is atrocious.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
That's really bad. That's like what we thought Houston would be coming into the year, not what they've shown us so far.
Yeah.
And the Panthers got their first win, so there are no more winless teams.
Good for them. Bryce Young looked good.
Yeah, for scoring 15 points in a game against the team that picked second overall last year, he looked great.
Yeah, he looked like he was physically capable of playing in the NFL.
Don taking a shot at Jim Kelly and Marino. They scored a 15 on the test.
Okay, so
Eli Manning scored a 48. Eli Manning had a 48.
Marino and Kelly. Okay, so first, sorry, this is another aside. I want to make this point clear for the listeners. The Wonderlic test itself is a test of critical thinking. The questions are not. So the way it starts is that the questions, it's 1 through 50, and they get progressively more difficult as you go. So the trick to the test is to do it backwards, right? And skip anything you can't immediately answer.
Yeah.
Because you don't know the category of the difficult questions that comes up. So if all you do is take the test backwards, you'll do better than if you take it forwards. So if Dan Marino got a 15, but he took it forwards, he probably got like a 29 if he had just done it the other way. Right. And so that's actually the trick to taking the Wonderlic. And I think that got out there, so it was no longer effective. That's why they switched to this thing that apparently CJ Stroud bombed, but now he's a pretty good quarterback. Anyways, I don't want to make it sound like, oh my God, I'm some sort of Mensa guy because I got a 41. That's not the case. I'm just saying that, like, I knew the trick before I took it. Browns 20 at the Seahawks 24. No Deshaun Watson again. Weird game. The Browns led most of the way, but can never put the Seahawks away. Jackson Smith and Jigba touchdown with 20 seconds left for the win. The Seahawks now lead the NFC West at 6-2. And that is because Bengals 31 at the 49ers 17. Cleve, your Bengals are here.
Tom Burrow showed the fuck up. Cav must be feeling good.
It is, because you can see the way he's moving. There was a play in the game where he did like a crossover type of a dribble move and a couple of defenders and escaped him. And it was just like, yeah, he's feeling pretty good.
Yeah.
He looks good.
Throws around point. This was 3 straight losses for the 49ers. They had bad defensive performances in all 3. So go out and get Chase Young. Gotta try to do something to help that out.
I mean, the fucking kicker for the first of those 3, the kicker let them down. But you're right, the defense needs to show the fuck up, and I guess that's why the Chase Young thing makes sense.
Yep.
Watson elite?
Is no. Although he would have been in this conversation and played his way out of it, right?
Yes.
But his last year in Houston would have been like, yeah, he's elite, but he's obviously no longer elite.
Yeah, at a point 4 years ago or so, 3 or 4 years into his NFL career, you would have viewed him as becoming an elite quarterback. Yes.
Yeah, 3 or 4 years ago it was Mahomes, Deshaun Watson, Mitch Trubisky. Anyways,
Mitch. Mitch.
So the Bengals actually play the Bills this week.
It's gonna be a good one.
That should be a very good game to see.
Yeah.
I think that's this week. I've been looking at too many schedules coming up. We'll confirm that here in a couple minutes. Most shocking result of the day: Chiefs 9 and the Broncos 24. Personally, I don't think there's too much to say about this besides the fact I cannot believe that team that gave up 70 to the Dolphins only let the Chiefs score 9.
Did you guys see that they played the Taylor Swift song?
That's my last note here. The best part of this game is that as soon as it went final, the stadium in Denver started playing "Shake It Off" by Taylor Swift.
That was fucked up.
That was awesome. That was really cool. And Mahomes had the flu.
Yeah,
which didn't have a good
I'm sure
flu
didn't
game.
help.
See, every once in a while, you're going to lose games that you shouldn't lose.
Yeah,
it's just how it goes.
Yeah. And we have a listener, my boy Tony, who's a massive Chiefs fan, has been for 30 years now. And, he usually he really doesn't like whenever the Chiefs lose, especially now because they're so good. But I was talking to him offline and I was like, this is not a game to worry about.
Flu? Yeah, come on.
Yeah. And I mean, it's a bad loss, but it's not. The Chiefs have earned the right to drop 2 games a year they shouldn't, and we know they're going to be fine.
Yeah.
Was that game in Mile High?
Yeah, no, the Chiefs wouldn't have trolled themselves like that. Yeah.
No. Meaning I'm imagining just having a back hole, not the flu, and having to play a football game in Denver. That had to suck bad. I mean, the fact that he was even out there, kudos for that shit. Seriously.
Yeah. So yeah, Chiefs, remember, this is the week. The Sunday morning game is a game to watch. It's Chiefs Dolphins, 9:30 Sunday morning. Be up. Get ready.
Is this Germany or
Germany?
Yeah.
Germany. So you hear that, Don? 6:30 in the morning, Sunday, up watching football. All right.
Oh, wow, it's brutal for him. Shit.
Yeah.
He's gonna get like another 3 hours before us. Whew.
Yeah.
That's
Jake
brutal.
is not in the chat tonight. I assume he's out trick-or-treating. Taking his kids trick-or-treating, to be fair. But brutal for him too, out in LA, having to get up at 6:30. Ravens 31 at the Cardinals 24. After the game, Cardinals head coach Joe Gannon said that Dobbs will start in week 9. And then Dobbs got traded to Minnesota. And that Kyler won't come back until week 10. So that means that Kyler Murray's first game will be 2 days after the drop of Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
He can't leave the house. They're going to take all the TVs out of his house.
I don't know who they're playing that week, but I'm taking
under
that
guard.
You thought Mahomes the flu was a problem.
I want some of that action.
Kyler will have not slept for 72 hours. He will have 300 ounces of Mountain Dew coursing through his system. And 4 large Domino's pizzas.
Well, you said week 10?
Week 10. The week the Lions played the Chargers.
Okay, so week 10, you get Atlanta at Arizona.
Yeah, Bijan Robinson, 400 yards. AJ Terrell, 7 interceptions. Yeah. So yeah, that's their plan. It's roll him out there right after the new edition of his favorite game. You know, I used to call out of work the day after the new NCAA football game came out because I just knew.
Yeah, we all did stuff like that.
Yeah, because I'm like I just know I'm going to be up all night playing this game. I can't.
Exactly.
And we know Kyler's not going to skip the game. It's his new. He's like 25. There's no chance, right? Maybe an old dude, Drew Brees, could skip the game. Kyler ain't skipping the game. Bears 13 at the Chargers 30. Velus Jones might be the worst player in the league. Did you guys see this play?
No, what's the play?
Okay. So keep in mind that Tyson Bagent is starting for the Bears, right? On the road in LA. Velus Jones, who is in his second year in the league and is 37 years old, beat his guy on a 9 route down into the end zone. Safety couldn't get over in time. We got like a 55-yard touchdown incoming. All he has to do is run under the ball. He trips over his own feet, falls flat on his back like Kevin Hart making fun of Shaq, and then the ball hits him right in the chest, and he like bobbles it and loses it for no touchdown. All you do was just smoothly run under it and catch it. Bagent laid it out there. Perfect, right for him. So he's in his second year in the league. He is actually the same age as DJ Moore, to give you an idea how old he is.
Yeah.
All he can do is run fast. He can't catch. Like, what are we doing here?
He's Featherstone from Necessary Roughness. You don't know who that is?
I don't.
Oh my God. Scott, would you educate this man? You guys have never seen Necessary Roughness? Either one of you?
You're gonna have to explain it to me. So
to be fair, I was like 8 when it came out, and I just got around to it.
So I've seen it.
Scott Bakula play, but forgot the guy. The guy that plays Alvin Mack in the program is the receiver Featherstone. He just runs fast, but his hands are bricks. Oh my God!
Couple things.
I know who you're talking. Yes, I got you.
Couple things. I've never seen the program.
Oh my! Dave.
But I know who Alvin Mack is. We lost Clev. I know.
Is he done?
I know who Alvin Mack is from social media. I actually don't know who Scott Bakula is. I don't have any clue who that is.
Wow. Okay.
But the way you said it was like
he's the quarterback.
But the way you said it was like this is like an actor who I should know or something. I'm telling you, I've never even heard.
I mean, he was popular in the 80s and early 90s.
Well, so were a lot of people I know. I'm saying I've just never heard of the Scott Bakula person, whoever that is.
You just said that Megan just saw a movie last week for the first time. I forgot what you said, what movie it was. You made her watch something like 2 weeks ago, or whatever.
It was Roadhouse.
Yeah, Roadhouse.
Yeah. And to be fair, I didn't make her watch it. I didn't make her watch it. We were looking for something to watch, and it was on, and it was about to come on, and I was like, yes. She literally just opened the door and said, "Did you say Roadhouse?"
Is she in for round 2?
Yes. Yeah, that came up on the show last week, Megan, how much you love Roadhouse. Anyways, yeah, she kept running into the room to say, "Did you say Roadhouse?" But I didn't make her watch Roadhouse. It was just coming out. I was like, "Hey, we should check this out." And then she ended up loving it. Yeah, I got no other thoughts on this game. The Chargers beat the shit out of the Bears like they're supposed to at home. Anything else on this one?
No.
All right. Last game, Raiders 14 at the Lions 26. I am actually frustrated coming out of this game. I'm happy the Lions won, right? I'm not going to take Lions wins for granted because, like, it's the Lions.
Yeah.
But this game felt like it should have been 94-0 Detroit.
The refs definitely slowed the action down a bit.
And Devontae Adams had a 60-yard, and a 98-yard touchdown just thrown 10 yards over his head by Jimmy G. I mean, wide open.
Cam Sutton had a bad day yesterday because he couldn't stay with him. He just couldn't.
Yes. And so as I watch this game, like from a prognosticating the future standpoint, obviously it's better than getting hammered 38-6 by the Ravens.
Yeah.
but it didn't give me as much encouragement as I was hoping for against an overmatched team. I was like, they're making silly mistakes. They're on bad pick sixes. The red zone play calling is a disaster. Like, so this is how I normally feel about Michigan when they don't play up to snuff against great competition. So I'm happy to feel that way about the Lions now. But Scott, I don't know if we need to talk me off the ledge or what, but I did not come out of this game feeling like, okay, the Lions are a Super Bowl contender again.
Well, I think there's context. So the context is you didn't have your starting left guard, center, or right guard in the game. You just didn't. They didn't play. Amon-Ra was sick. You're without Montgomery. Gibbs looked awesome in this game, but clearly, they didn't finish in the red zone the way they would have wanted to. But how much of that is a function of what they were missing on their offensive line? You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of things that you could point to, but I'm with you. It didn't feel like a super polished performance. It seemed like even some of their play calls were unnecessarily. Hey, we're going to run a reverse and we're not going to block Max Crosby. We're going to run it right at him. Oh, cool. How's that going to go?
Yeah, we saw that.
Yeah, so it's like it did not feel like the kind of game where you would get warm, fuzzy feelings about it, but I didn't expect it either with all the pieces they were missing.
Ben says we beat the spread. Stop whining.
How come there wasn't and I might be wrong about the stat. Like 2016 was the last time you guys had a game, a Monday night game hosted?
2018. It was Sam Darnold's first game. Remember, he threw the pick six to start the game.
The pick six, yeah.
His first ever throw.
And then everybody thought, oh, Patricia's in town and the Patriots, the Patriot way is going to work great. And then I think Darnold went for, what did he throw, 5 touchdowns that night?
Yeah. Yep. And they looked good after that. Yeah. So getting a win is good, but the Raiders are overmatched. They're in Detroit. It's Monday night. I wanted to see the Lions actually kick the shit out of this team because it's within the reasonable expectations. And on the one hand, they kind of did. Devontae Adams, 1 catch for 11 yards. Jacoby Myers, 1 catch for 19 yards. But we saw them miss Devontae wide open for touchdowns it's Jimmy G. Jimmy G lost the Super Bowl missing that throw. We're not going to see other quarterbacks miss throws like that, especially in the playoffs. And so that's why for me as a Lions fan, obviously glad to get the win, 6-2, going to win the division. But as far as building towards actually trying to do something that this franchise has never done before, I didn't quite see it in this one.
Yeah, and I didn't either. But again, you're missing huge parts up front on offense. I didn't think that they would play well on offense. I thought that would be very disjointed at times. I thought Gibbs looked great running the ball, both in space and between the tackles. Amon-Ra continues to do his thing, but outside of that,
he's dope. He's dope, bro.
And Laporta is pretty ridiculous too. But it didn't feel like a performance that you thought would give you any great vibes going forward. But they were missing some important stuff.
Is that why Crosby had that many tackles, or is it because that side, the protection on that side broke down?
No, they ran at him every play.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, they were like, where's their best defender? We're going at him.
And he was awesome. I mean, he played great.
Max Crosby's phenomenal.
Football.
Yeah. There's it was a weird game. That's best way you could describe it. Gibbs had a great game production-wise.
Yeah.
And all that stuff, but not a great.
I also like his celebration of him just jumping clear into the stands,
yes.
Completely in the crowd with everybody else. That was really cool.
Yeah,
that was crazy.
Okay. The Raiders are terrible. I don't know how McDaniels isn't fired yet, but whatever. And they did not trade Devontae Adams. He is just stuck there for the rest of the season, apparently. All right. So as we do every week, before we get out of here, I do want to look at the schedule next week briefly. Clev, the Thursday night game. Get ready. Titans at Steelers.
Hard pass.
Will Levis
versus Mitch Trubisky. Can you feel the excitement?
Now, this one will be interesting because he will get pressured in this game.
Yes, he's going to have to deal with TJ Watt and Alex Highsmith for sure.
Yeah.
As we mentioned, Sunday morning at 9:30, Dolphins and Chiefs in Germany.
I don't even know if I can make that, bro.
You're gonna be up for it. Chiefs Dolphins. Chiefs Dolphins. Yeah, that's an AFC. That's an AFC championship preview.
That game should be in America. That game should be in. I don't know why that game's like that particular game. The Tyree come home game. Seriously.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, you're right.
Who gets the home game?
Let's just flip it now. Send the Titans and the Steelers to Germany on short notice.
Yes, go the fuck out there, man. Give us good football, bro. Like seriously, it makes no sense why that game wasn't. That's crazy, bro.
I mean, that game should be. It's a home game for the Chiefs. That game really should be in Kansas City with Tyreek coming back. Okay, 1:00 games on Sunday. Vikings at Falcons. Absolutely. Who's going to win, Jaron Hall or Arthur Smith? The answer is we all lose. Yeah. Bears at Saints. Jesus Christ. Rams at Packers. Jesus Christ. Commanders at Patriots. Oh my God. Here we go. Seahawks at Ravens.
That's a good one.
Yeah. All right. Seahawks at Ravens.
Okay. Finally, something.
Yeah, that should be a fun game right there as well. Next game is not good teams, but it could be a good game. Bucks at Texans.
Yep.
That could be a really, really fun game that doesn't matter, but it could be a good one.
I'm running out of toilet paper, Dave. I'm running out of toilet
Cardinals,
paper. Wiping my ass, trying to get something.
Cardinals at Browns.
Dude.
God, bro, it's a bye week for us.
maybe if we get Kyler and Watson back this week,
maybe
there could be something there.
Jesus,
although if I'm Arizona, I'm not bringing Kyler Murray back against Myles Garrett.
No.
Another game that's bad teams could be fun. Colts at Panthers.
Yep.
Would be really fun if Richardson were playing because he'd have the same thing as Stroud that I should have been the first overall pick thing.
Yeah.
Come on. Giants at Raiders.
Oh yeah, my God. Oh my God. Bro. It's like two games that out of what you just named, rattled off, it's like two games I want to see.
Yeah,
this is a red zone week.
Yeah, and some of these games will be like accidentally entertaining, but come on. Okay, then Cowboys at Eagles.
Yep, okay, that's a good one.
Good. Sunday night, Bills at Bengals.
Okay,
good game.
That'd be a great game. Yep. And then Monday night, Chargers at the Jets. Clev.
Yeah, hopefully we'll have something to talk about on on Tuesday.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. But the way it's spread out is that we do actually have one good game in every window on Sunday. 9:30 in the morning, Dolphins and Chiefs. 1:00 Seahawks Ravens. 4:25 Cowboys Eagles. Sunday night, Bills Bengals. So there will at least be a good game happening for like 13 straight hours that day.
Yep.
So Ben, it really is a bye week. Take the whole goddamn thing off. Don, great matchup.
I said that.
Yeah. So, all right. This is my political football, part of the Mad Ass Media Network. Again, I mentioned at the top of the show, I'll mention it again. If you're listening on audio, thank you. It's also YouTube live stream. There's a link in the show notes. Subscribe, get notified when we go live. If you're watching now, thank you so much. The chat makes the show so much better. Please like the video. That does help us in the algorithm. Cleve, do you have any final words?
Nah, it's good to have you. Good to have you back, Scott. I love a 3-man wolf.
See you guys. Lots going on in the world. It's cool to hang out with friends. It's good. It's good.
Yeah. I agree. All right, we'll see everybody next Tuesday night to talk about the Giants and the Raiders. Peace.